Welcome to devlog number 2 for my game, still titled in not decided. So the key part of the game is basically going to be a survival in a type of Timberborn, Raft, Axion, and a few other games combined into one. And the key aspect of the game is basically some event happens, you are in space where you have limited resources, you cannot land back on the planet to survive, something happened, etc., etc. But the key thing is you need to collect enough ship parts to survive whatever's happening in the system. You'll see that later. And the key thing of the game is the ability to see on the inside of the ship. That's how you build things to further enhance the production or research or etc. etc. So that will allow you to build different parts on the inside so that you can further survive. And the key thing is you find these parts and you will dock with them in that you do not build them from scratch. Again, you're in deep space, or you are in space of a you're in space, and as such there's no real production facility up and running. You're the only crew left in the system. Why? Story-wise, you will see. But the key thing is you find these parts, you will dock with them, and therefore building up your ship to be faster, more room for production, more energy production, etc., etc., etc. You will have research capabilities so that you can go and do things. So, for example, right now, docking with one of the engines, this will allow you the ability to go faster than normal, right? Faster than the main ship. The main ship was just basically based on some of the concept designs for some of the not SDOs, single stage orbits, but some of the ideas of next shuttle, basically. Again, everything is going to be updated significantly over the time, GUI and all that. But the key thing is, as you connect and disconnect from any of these components, you will enhance your overall ship, be it storage. So, for example, right now you see that the core storage of my ship is about 13, let's say, tons or kilograms, or I don't know, 13 units. There's limited production. It produces 5 out of 5 megawatts, and it consumes no megawatts. Again, that will be fixed. And as you see, once I dock, you will see the slight reduction in the overall available energy. And again, key aspect is you find these parts. Why you can't build them? Again, you're in space. There's nobody around. So therefore, building an entire space station or components with high precision docking ports and all that is going to be difficult. So therefore, finding them will make also a survival game that much more challenging. The scope of the universe, of course, will be based, or universe, the solar system will be based on the difficulty level, right? So, for example, you can go real time or full size or high difficulty, and therefore it'll go hopefully a 1-to-1 scale to our solar system, and therefore travel between stars will be extremely difficult and long, right? Even because again, 8 minutes to the sun. To Pluto is like 45, was it 45 minutes or 45 hours? I don't remember. I have it somewhere written down. But anyways, therefore, there will be multiple difficulty levels, and that will reduce the overall distances, which will make things much more interesting or easier. Anyway, so now I'm connecting to a core docking module, and I'm guessing right now, at least the idea is that you can only initially dock with this part of a ship, and it will connect to other components. This will reduce or have the ability that the rest of the components are still docked to a component that can still manage the overall items. So, for example, you need to quickly disconnect and maybe move things around. This will allow you to disconnect without dismantling the entire components that are behind you, right? Again, the design of the docking port right now, hexagonal, might go back to circular. Just try to make slightly something different, but the more I look at it, the less interesting it looks. So it might get it aligned. Anyway, so blue, by the way, means ready to dock. Right now it's just a snapping. You can see on the inside, it lit up the lights because all components, once you dock with them, they activate and therefore have certain components. But the idea is that when you disconnect from this core component, like right now I'm going to be docking with the solar panel, so you can see right now production is 5, so the bottom number, maximum production is 5, let's say megawatts, 5 megawatts. So as I connect to the panels, those numbers will go up, and that will allow you to connect other components that will function, right? As those components, of course, will have their own weight, they will have their own storage capability. Also, you can see my storage went from 13 up to 46 on most of the components, right? So 46 tons, because again, that core module has the room to store. And again, anything you produce, any of the components will have their own weight. So that way, it's not that you have infinite storage capability. No, everything weighs. Therefore, you will not be able to have that. As I said, all components will have some form of animation to initiate or show that they're active. So for right now, I'm going to be docking with the solar panels. So once I dock with them, again, ignoring the snapping, they unfurl and whatnot, they should point always towards the sun, etc., except in some in the upcoming solar storms. So right now I'm just docking with the core hub module where all key things will take place, such as the actual research, production of survival material like food, water, air, etc., plating to repair the ship's components and things like that once the storms hit. So those will be the primary modules where all things take place, right? Once you dock, you will see that there's going to be a you can see on the inside, again, currently there's no graphics or anything yet in the sense of indicating that, but there will be abilities to install modules that will enhance certain things, like right now the robot just going back and forth just for the fun of it. But the key thing is once you click anywhere, again, there'll be a menu or something like that to indicate here you can install that, and then now you installed a module that produces either oxygen or converts water right into ice, ice into water, etc., or does improve research or anything else, right? One of the key things here is these modules, they will, there are multiple levels of them, right? Level 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, that can be unlocked in order to produce, faster, things like that, right? So 1 wide is the weakest one. A 2 slot, a 3 slot, or a 4 slot item will be, of course, producing, will have enhanced production facilities. So like a 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 or whatever, right? Going back to just connections, you can connect to any of these modules. So there'll be right now, these are just the core basic modules for the testing purposes. There will be tons more. And right now everything's flat plane, right? So everything is on the singular plane to reduce, again, partially for the development aspect, but later on, hopefully, maybe I can switch on to full 3D to make it that much more complex. But the key thing is, as you can see, solar panels are nicely moving, though they're not adjusting properly. There's, again, just core animation and all that. Everything requires to be updated. Again, this is still more of a prototype. So as you travel, etc., you have to watch out for hitting things and things like that. That will cause damage. That will need to be repaired by the droids. Various types that you have. Based on or inspired by some of the old science fictions and all that, or new science fictions that currently exist. So there will be different designs. Those robots will be able to do different things or enhance certain things, but I'll leave that for a later point. So anyway, so here's one of the space stations, again, all abandoned. All you can do is go on board and collect resources, or the droids will, and now, actually, what I did is I activated a storm. You can see everything went red. There's an incoming wave of energy, basically the solar storm, right? Which is a potential title of the game, Solar Storm or Solar Winds. But the key thing is that energy, when it hits, it will damage the ship. Right now it doesn't, but the idea is that it will damage the ship. So the key idea is at that point you hide behind other things, be it established star bases or behind planets, right, to survive. And then the advantage is once later you enhance the ship maybe well enough, the energy production of that wave or that energy time will increase significantly the output of your at least solar production, right? So that's sort of the key other aspect, though. You can hide them, disable them, so you can turn them off, the panels, for example, before the wave hits, so you don't damage them. That's all TBD. So that's sort of the core mechanics. Going back quickly, I'm not sure if I mentioned why you... Oh, yeah, I mentioned you cannot build them from scratch. At least majority of it, but you will be able to, for example, right now you have 6 panels, or 12, but 6 modules of panels, but you will maybe start with 1 when you find it, or maybe 2, but you can build them with the resources, right? Electronics, composites, circuits, whatever. You build them and the droids will go out and start installing the next set to enhance your overall energy production. Each of the hub modules and any modules hopefully will have additional slots for, again, maybe installing side panels. Maybe you don't want these type of panels. Maybe you just want a streamlined ship, and then you just have installed them on your side of the ship or the modules. Put armor, solar panels, production like RTGs. So that. And that, honestly, is the core mechanics of the game. The asteroid mining will be limited, and again, it will be story-driven why it's limited. This will ensure that... it produces... it forces you to really manage your resources. Again, all story aspects will explain that aspect, why there's limited resources, but the key thing is down at the bottom you can see object scan, 8 core, 8 ore, 6 eyes, 2 biomaterials found in the asteroid you previously scanned or you looked forward at, right? Now, again, there will be some animation around that later on, etc., etc. So that's sort of the core game. Survival, graphics, again, they're TBD in the sense of, do I go for realistic, right, in a sense of deep space, dark highlights and things like that, or do I go a bit more in between realism and enjoyability, right? So that's sort of the key thing of that. So yeah, that is the core thing. One of the other things, of course, the key aspect of the game is also the ability to reconfigure your ship as you want. So right now, for example, undocking with this module, the idea is that the robot and the lights, for example, will go off. The lights already went off, but the robot should also go offline because it doesn't have in itself its own power, right? It's our power source, or power source was expanded, whatever, over the X amount of time that. So that's the key thing, is connecting these modules, building up a ship, surviving the storm, understanding the story, what happened, and with a certain goal of leaving the system.